Welcome to The Explainer. So, have you ever wondered how you can build an investment portfolio that actually lines up with your faith? Well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to take a deep dive, a full 67-minute masterclass on halal investing, and boil it down into a simple, actionable guide to get you going. Okay, let's just jump right in with a really important question. What is your money doing right now? Seriously, if it's just sitting in a bank account, it's not just sitting there. It's actually losing value. Every single day, inflation is chipping away at what your money can actually buy. But here's the thing a lot of people miss. Islam actually encourages us to grow our wealth, but to do it responsibly.
So you're kind of at a crossroads, right? On one path, you've got conventional investing. It's often built on interest, or riba. And let's be honest, it can sometimes fund industries that just don't sit right with our values. But then there's the other path, halal investing. This is all about growing your wealth through real, tangible assets, making ethical choices, and focusing on generating pure and blessed wealth, what we call barakah.
So what is halal investing really? Well, you can think of it as ethical investing on steroids. I mean, it goes way beyond just saying no to the obvious stuff. It's a whole framework that filters out interest-based finance. It avoids companies that are loaded up with excessive debt. It's about aligning your entire financial world with your faith. But hold on, before you even think about putting a single dollar into an investment, it's absolutely crucial to get your financial house in order. I love this analogy. You've got to prep the ground before you plant the seed. Seriously, building the strong foundation is probably the most important step of all. It makes everything that comes after so much smoother. So here's the deal. It's a three-step foundation. First, get that house in order. That means clearing out any high-interest debt, and super important, building an emergency fund that can cover you for 3 to 6 months. Second, you have to know your why. Why are you even investing? Is it for a down payment in 5 years, or is it for retirement 30 years from now? Your why changes everything. And third, you've got to embrace patience. Investing isn't a get-rich-quick thing. It's a get-rich-slowly plan that lets the magic of compounding do its work over time.
All right, so your foundation is solid. Now we get to the really exciting part, seeing what's on the menu. Let's explore the halal investment buffet, and we're going to break down the 3 most common types of investments that are out there for you.
First up, stocks. You know what this is, it's just owning a tiny piece of a company. But for a stock to be considered halal, it has to pass this really strict 3-part test. First, the company's main business has to be ethical. Second, any income it gets from prohibited sources has to be tiny, like less than 5%. And third, it can't be drowning in interest-based debt. This whole process makes sure you're investing in a company that's not only operating in a permissible way, but is also financially pretty healthy.
Okay, next up we have sukuk, which people often call Islamic bonds. Now here's the key difference, and it's a big one. A normal bond is basically a loan, an IOU, where they pay you interest. A sukuk? It's more like you own a few bricks in a building. You're not lending money, you're buying a share of a real physical asset, and you earn a piece of the real income it generates, like the rent. That asset backing is why they're seen as a lower risk option for generating steady income.
And our third asset class is one we all totally get, property. Real estate is real, it's tangible, it's familiar. Now you could go buy a building yourself, but it's often way easier to get into it through things like crowdfunding platforms or special funds called REITs. This is a great way to get a mix of rental income and long-term growth without having to come up with the cash for an entire building yourself.
Okay, so we've got our ingredients, right? Stocks, sukuk, and property. But the real art is in the recipe. How do you actually combine them? And look, there's no single right answer here. It is all about crafting a personal portfolio mix that fits you, your age, your goals, and just how comfortable you are with risk.
So this is where you have to ask yourself, what kind of investor are you? Are you trying to protect what you already have? Are you looking for a nice, steady balance? Or are you ready to go all in for growth? Your personal situation is going to point you to your ideal mix. Let's walk through 3 quick examples to see how this actually works. First, let's meet Hassan. He's 60, he's getting close to retirement. His #1 goal is to protect the money he's saved and generate some income from it. So he's a protector. His portfolio is pretty conservative. Look at that, half of it is in low-risk sukuk and cash. Stocks are only a small piece of the pie because for him, stability is everything.
Now let's meet Aisha. She's 35, she's a balancer. She's looking for good, long-term growth, so you can see over half her portfolio is in stocks, but she also keeps a solid amount in sukuk and property to kind of cushion things if the stock market gets bumpy. It's a classic, balanced approach for someone who's right in the middle of their career.
And then we have Omar. Omar's 25, he's got decades of work ahead of him, so he can take on more risk. He is a grower. His portfolio is much more aggressive. We're talking 70% in high-growth things like stocks and venture capital. He even has a small slice for riskier things like crypto. Right now, his main focus is just maximizing those long-term returns.
So, we've covered the why, the what, and the how. Now it's time for the most crucial part, turning all of this knowledge into real action. How do you take that very first step?
And you know what? It really boils down to a simple 3-step plan. Step 1, just open a suitable investment account. Step 2, start small. You do not need thousands of dollars. Just make one small investment in something simple, like an index fund, just to get your feet wet. And step 3, make it a habit. Automate your investments so you're building wealth consistently, month after month, without even thinking about it.
At the end of the day, remember this. Halal investing is a tool. It's a means to an end. The real goal is to achieve financial security in a way that is pleasing to our Creator and brings benefit to our lives. And that entire journey just begins with one single, empowered step. The only question left is, what's your first step going to be?